Thank you for joining me on my learning journey. Today I'm going to be sharing my learnings on how to do problem 22 from the AMC 8 2019 question paper. So, a store increased the original price of a shirt by a certain percent and then lowered the new price by the same amount. Given that the resulting price was 84% of the original price, by what percent was the price increased and decreased? So I encourage you to go ahead, take a minute, and pause the video to try this problem on your own, and then come back and hit play once you've tried it on your own. Alright, so I'm assuming you've given this problem a go. Let's start solving it together. So the way I'm going to approach this is algebraically. I always find that that's the method that best works for me, and I'm going to represent R, the rate at which they're increasing and then decreasing, as a decimal rather than a percent, because that's just the way it works better for me, and you'll see why that is in a second. You could always multiply everything by 100 and do it as percentages, but this just works better for me. And so what we're going to do is I'm just going to write out an equation just going off of our given information, right? So they increased the original price of the shirt by a certain percent, which we're going to call R. So they increased it by a certain percent, so they're going to say P, or the original price, times 1 plus the rate. And why are we doing 1 plus the rate here? Well, it's because you're increasing it by that much. So say you're doing, let's take a random percentage here or decimal, and I'm saying that the rate is going to be 15%. So it would be 15% of the original price plus what's already there because they're increasing the price. And so if we factor out P here, you get 0.15 plus 1 times P. So this would be just R plus 1. So that's how we're getting that R plus 1 there. So P times 1 plus R, and then they're decreasing it by the same amount. So for that, we would do 1 minus R. And why is that? Because if you're doing 0.15, then the price will be 0.85 times what it used to be, because you're decreasing you're decreasing 0.15 from what was already there. So it would be 1 minus R, and we're saying that that is equal to 84% of the original price, or 0.84 times the original price, or P. But here we have P on both sides. We have this variable on both sides, so we can easily cancel it out on both sides to make it a little easier. And so now we have one variable, one equation, and we can solve it. So when we distribute this out, or when we expand this, when we multiply this, what we get is 1 minus R plus R minus R squared is equal to 0.84. And we don't like this minus R plus R stuff, right? Because it can easily be simplified. They just cancel each other out. And then we're going to add R squared to both sides. Oops. Subtract 0.84 from both sides, and you get 0.16 is equal to R squared. And so we're going to take the square root of both of them, and of course it could be negative 0.4, but that doesn't make sense in this particular scenario. So it would be 0.4 as our answer, and because we're dealing with percentages here, it would be 40%. So that's